When we speak about friendship, we often picture two people walking side by side. They share stories, they listen, they laugh. From the outside it looks simple, but inside each of them there is often a quiet struggle. We are unsure how much we should carry for the other person, and we are unsure how much we must leave in their hands. We wonder how to be loyal without losing ourselves, how to be kind without becoming exhausted. I would like to share a story about Anna and Peter. Anna felt responsible for Peter's life. Whenever he spoke about his troubles at work, something inside her tightened as if an alarm had gone off. She offered plans. She sent links to articles. She forwarded job openings. She wrote long messages after midnight, explaining how he could talk to his boss or change his CV. In her mind, this was love. This was loyalty. This was what it meant to be a good friend. But as the months passed, something became very clear. Peter listened. He nodded. He agreed that his situation was difficult, and then he changed nothing. The same complaints returned each week, only with slightly different details. His tone was tired, but his decision stayed the same. Anna, meanwhile, began to feel worn out. Her messages took more effort. Her patience grew thinner. She felt as if she were pouring water into a cup with a hidden crack. Inside, another feeling appeared, very quiet and somewhat shameful. She was afraid that if she stopped helping, Peter would no longer need her. And if he no longer needed her, perhaps she would lose her place in his life. This is a very human situation. Many of us try to gain our sense of worth by being useful. We rescue others. We anticipate their needs. We carry more than our share. We hope that if we solve enough problems, we will no longer feel small or unsure of ourselves. We fight our own feelings of inferiority by becoming indispensable in someone else's story. There is nothing wrong with wanting to help. There is nothing wrong with wanting to matter. But there is an important question. Does our helping still leave room for the other person's dignity, responsibility and growth? And does it leave room for our own needs and limits? If our efforts are driven mostly by fear, fear of being unimportant, fear of being left, then the friendship becomes heavy for both sides. One person feels pressured, the other feels drained. Now let us look more closely at what happens inside Anna. On the surface, she is the strong one, the fixer, the reliable friend. But beneath that role, there may be an earlier story. Perhaps she once felt unnoticed. Perhaps she learned that love must be earned by effort. When such a child grows into an adult, they often seek situations where they can feel bigger by carrying more. They compensate for earlier feelings of smallness by becoming the one who always knows what to do. This is a creative way of dealing with feelings of inferiority. It is not bad. It is simply incomplete, because if we must always be the strong one, we never allow ourselves to be simply human. And if we must always carry others, we never fully trust that they can grow. Here the idea of separation of tasks can bring some light. In every difficulty, we can gently ask whose task is this truly, who will live with the result of this decision. In Anna's case, it was Peter who would live with the consequences of staying in his job or leaving it. The choice and the courage or fear around it belonged to him. He was the one who would face the risk of change. He was the one who would feel the insecurity of a new path. He was the one who would sit in the room with his manager and speak honestly or stay silent. Anna could not stand in his place in those moments. His career, his courage, his hesitation were his task. Anna's task was different. Her task was to decide how she wished to be as a friend. Would she listen with respect? Would she speak honestly about what she saw? Would she be willing to say, I care about you, but I cannot live your life for you? Would she protect her own time and energy, so that her yes still had meaning? When Anna slowly began to see this, she changed her way of relating to Peter. She did not give a dramatic speech. There was no sudden break. Instead, she made small and quiet adjustments. She still cared, she still listened, but she stopped sending long late-night messages full of detailed plans. She spoke more simply. Sometimes she said, I hear how heavy this feels for you. And then she would add, what do you think you want to do? After that she allowed silence and space. She did not rush to fill the gap with advice. She did not try to push him forward. The rest, she decided, was his responsibility. Over time something interesting happened. Anna began to feel lighter. Her sleep improved. She had more attention for her own life, her own work, her own family. She discovered that her value did not depend entirely on solving other people's struggles. She was allowed to exist even when she was not rescuing someone, and Peter, no longer feeling pushed or managed, slowly began to take more ownership of his situation. He still had fears, he still hesitated, but he also took small steps that were truly his. By not taking his task away from him, Anna showed more respect for his dignity. This is the heart of social interest, the feeling that we are fellow travelers. We do not stand above our friends, directing their steps like a commander. We do not stand below them, pretending that our own needs do not matter. We stand beside them. We offer encouragement, not control. We say, I am with you, instead of do exactly what I say. Many conflicts in friendship come from confusion over tasks. We worry endlessly about what others think of us, as if their thoughts were our property to arrange. We feel responsible for their moods, for their disappointment, for their reactions, or we place our own peace entirely in their hands. We wait for their messages as proof that we matter. We let their silence define our worth. In our modern world, this confusion is often intensified. Messages can arrive at any hour. We see that someone has read our text but not replied. Very quickly we begin to tell ourselves stories. They are angry with me. They are bored with me. I am not important. Our heart tightens, not because of the silence itself, but because of the meaning we attach to it. Here we can remember again, it is not my task to control the responses of others. It is not my task to dictate their speed, their availability, or their emotional weather. It is my task to choose how I live, how I speak, and what kind of friend I wish to be. Their replies, their timing, their mood on a given day belong to their side of the street. Mine is to act in a way that I can later respect. This way of thinking is not cold. It is not a method for becoming distant. It is a path to a more honest and courageous form of belonging. When we respect the separation of tasks, we are saying, you are a whole person. You have your past. I will not invade it under the name of love. I am also a whole person. I have my past. I will not abandon it under the fear of losing you. Now let us look at our sense of self. Many of us move through life with a quiet feeling of not enough, not clever enough, not attractive enough, not successful enough, not interesting enough to keep others close. In friendship we may try to cover this feeling by constantly giving more advice, more time, more sacrifice. We think, if I am endlessly understanding, if I never disappoint, then I will be safe. But safety built on constant self-denial is fragile. The more we betray our own needs, the more resentment grows, quietly like water behind a dam. Eventually it leaks out as irritation, sarcasm, or sudden withdrawal. The unity of the self is disturbed. What we feel, what we think, and what we do begin to pull in different directions. We smile while we are inwardly exhausted. We say yes while every part of us longs to say no. We call this being a good friend, but often it is a way of abandoning ourselves. Here we need the courage to be imperfect, to live with unity. We must accept that we will sometimes disappoint others. We will say, I cannot talk tonight, I need rest. We will say, I care about you, but I am not able to solve this for you. We may even say, when our talks stay only in complaints, I feel drained. I would like us to also speak about what we can do. Some friends will welcome this honesty. They will feel invited into a more equal relationship. They will sense that they are no longer leaning on a wall, but walking with another person. Other friends may resist. They may miss the old pattern, where we always carried more, where we always agreed. Their disappointment is part of their past. It is not something we can erase without erasing ourselves. Our task is to act with sincerity and respect, to set limits without hostility, and to accept that we cannot be everything for everyone. When we begin to live like this, our inner life comes into better alignment. Our feelings, our beliefs, and our actions slowly start to point in the same direction. This unity is not perfection, it is a direction of travel. We will still make mistakes. We will still sometimes give too much or pull back too far. But step by step, we learn to bring our actions closer to our values. Let us return to Anna once more. As she changed her way of relating to Peter, another discovery appeared. Without the constant preoccupation with his problems, she had more space to notice her own longings. She remembered hobbies she once loved. She reached out to friends with whom she felt playful and relaxed, not only those who needed her as a counselor. She also noticed that when she showed up more honestly, as someone who was sometimes tired, sometimes unsure, her friendships became deeper, not weaker. People trusted her more because they felt she was not performing a role. She was simply being herself. This shows us something important about encouragement. We often think that to encourage others, we must always be strong and certain. But true encouragement arises when two imperfect people meet as equals. When Anna stopped presenting herself as the all-knowing guide and allowed herself to be simply a friend, she gave Peter a new kind of encouragement. Her message was no longer, "Do what I say." It became, "I believe you can find your way, and I will not take your life out of your hands." Encouragement is the art of seeing in the other person not only their present confusion, but also their capacity for growth. It is a way of saying, you are more than this moment, you are more than this fear. It does not require big speeches. Sometimes it is a quiet sentence. I trust that you can handle this, or you have faced hard things before. I think you can face this too. Encouragement does not remove the struggle. It honors the person who must walk through it. Now let us gently widen the circle beyond Anna and Peter. Think of your own friendships. Perhaps there is someone you are always fixing. Perhaps there is someone whose silence quickly makes you anxious. Perhaps there is someone whose approval you quietly chase by overextending yourself. If such faces appear in your mind, do not judge yourself harshly. You are not alone. These patterns are very common ways of searching for belonging and significance. Instead of judgment, we can bring curiosity. We may ask ourselves, in this friendship, what am I hoping to prove? Am I trying to prove that I am indispensable? Am I afraid that without constant effort, I will be forgotten? Do I secretly believe that my needs are less important than everyone else's? These are questions about meaning and purpose. They reveal the hidden story we tell about why we exist and how we must behave to deserve a place among others. We are not prisoners of these stories. We are shaped by our past, but we are also guided by the meaning we give to our life now. We can decide that our purpose is not to erase ourselves, but to contribute as a whole person. A whole person gives and receives, supports and is supported, helps and also says, I need help. Belonging and contribution are deeply linked. To feel that we truly belong, we must feel that our presence matters. But contribution does not mean self-erasure. It means bringing our real gifts into the lives of others. Sometimes our gift is practical help. Sometimes it is careful listening. Sometimes it is humor, or reliability, or creativity. Sometimes it is simply a calm and steady presence. And sometimes our contribution is the courage to be ourselves. This courage can quietly give others permission to be themselves too. Separation of tasks is not a wall between people. It is a clear path between two human beings. Each has a life to live. Each has decisions to make. Each has lessons to learn. Within that clarity, friendship can become kinder, more honest and more equal. When I know what is mine, I can carry it more willingly. When I know what is not mine, I can leave it without guilt. I invite you to picture again two people walking side by side. These still share stories. These still laugh at times, and sometimes sit quietly together. But now each one also carries their own backpack. From time to time, they help adjust each other's straps. They may offer a sip of water or a word of comfort when the path is steep, yet they do not secretly carry the other's pack while ignoring their own. They trust that the journey itself will shape each of them in ways that cannot be borrowed. As you move through your own friendships, you might gently ask, in moments of tension or heaviness, what is truly mine here, and what belongs to the other? Which feelings, which choices, which consequences are on my side of the path, which belong to someone else's growth and courage? These questions are not meant to create distance. They are meant to invite a more respectful closeness. Do what is yours with as much courage and warmth as you can. Listen when you choose to listen. Speak honestly when you have something real to say. Rest when you are tired. Apologize when you have overstepped. Ask for what you need, not as a demand but as a way of sharing who you are. And allow your friends the same freedom. In this way we do not love less. We love with more respect. We remain close, while still allowing each person to walk on their own 2 feet. If you feel that these reflections speak to your own friendships and your own courage, you are welcome to stay with this journey, to listen again, to share it with someone who might need it, so we can keep walking this path of understanding together.